And we are live. I am excited about tonight. Let me tell you why. First of all, this show has been something I've wanted to do for a long time. Hitchhiker, the Touring Fan Live, all come together to hear the stories of people that we know in the community and know why they love the band and why they love doing things they do and follow things. But I've known Dayle for not a terribly long time, for a little over a year, through communications through Facebook and chatting, and I've bumped into him on occasion. But Dale's got some great stories. Dale's got a huge heart. Is an awesome person, and I just thought, hell, I want Dale's name digitally displayed. And I think that if you take all the letters of my full name and his full name, I believe we're only missing the letter B. So I think we're doing good that way. So Dayle,
Yeah, it's like it's a Laotian meets a Polak.
that's we've always wanted to bring those cultures together, and why not bring them together on the Touring Fan Live? But Dayle, listen,
And especially Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam. That's what it is. Basically, like the community is so awesome because it just like it crosses borders and it's just kind of like crazy. But I have friends from Brazil and stuff like that, and all around the world, and it's just like awesome because Pearl Jam.
exactly. Well, dude, first I want to say, Dayle, thank you so much for coming on here. When I reached out to you and said, "Hey, listen, man, I want you to come on," I respected you. Like, you're like, well, I don't want to, it's all, no one wants to hear my stories. I'm like, dude, you are an interesting person. I love your stories. I can't wait to hear the Chicago story in a little bit, but I want to ask a question, a real simple question.
Sure.
Or maybe it's not simple. We'll have to see. First, how about this? We're both drinking beers. How about cheers to Pearl Jam hitting the
Cheers.
road soon? Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, and we're going to be at See Here Now, so
That's
I will
right.
see you guys. And there's big events going on that Anthony's coordinated, and well, truly blessed that he's putting all this shit together. Can I go PG-13 or do I have to stay PG-13?
Listen, this. We do shows at 9 o'clock at night because we assume kids aren't watching. So that's right. So shit going down in September for sure.
And if Art and Steph will watch it, hi Emery. So and if Kristen's watching, hi Cohen. So those are the two kids that I've met. No, I haven't met, but they're like, this is like what it is. It's just about the
It's like
community.
a family. It's a family. It really is.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most excited about, like September, and we've talked about this, and I've talked about this on different shows, is like there is so many people I've talked to for years that I've never met in person. Like I have people that every year I send Christmas cards to that I never met, but if they called me and said they needed me, I'd be there for, just because the relationships I built through this community, which is awesome. Like I feel that same way with you, with the communications we've had over the last few months and stuff and year. I've built this relationship. You're like, if you said, "Hey, man, I need someone to talk to," I would be there for you.
Yeah, no, and I always would tell you that this form of communication, vid chatting, is the best way. It just like you get instantaneous, and like, not that I don't answer your text or anything or messenger like a text or anything like that, but I always think that this is always you get a natural reaction, and you actually get like really, it's really just much more better in terms of communications. And I've been part of groups and stuff, and we keep in contact all the time, and so it's really amazing. So I would encourage you guys just keep in contact with each other via vid chat, and we have this platform to do it. So why not take advantage of it? And it's awesome.
Yeah, words never true or spoken. Let me ask this. So here's the question that starts it all. Do you remember the first time you heard Pearl Jam?
Yes. 1991. I think I was entering my senior year. So I graduated in 92. So 1991. And I had like and then we'll go into this why I get crazy about this, but I had a Nissan Maxima, all right, which is just like a Nissan Maxima, but like I was into music and stuff like that. I just wanted to kind of like get a sound system into the car, into my Maxima. It's a piece of crap. I really don't care. I bet you that the sound system I put on it was more expensive than my car, but yeah, and I was like, all right, well, yeah, I was really into music. Actually, in the '80s, I was really into like uh, Michael Jackson, all that stuff. Anything that was on the radio, I was listening to because I just had arrived at the country, and so music was just like, I was just trying to learn the language and the music, and Michael Jackson like really was really really cool, and so I was just listening to music, and the only way we could get music was through FM, you know. And so I was like really into it, and then I was in study hall, and a friend of mine, Chris, he's like shows me this CD. I was like, what is this? He's like, it's Pearl Jam, and it's like this, kind of purplish thing, and you break it out, and you're like, oh damn, it's fucking cool, and you get these guys that just do that. I'm like, well, that's what kind of like, as an 18-year-old, you're like, it shows solidarity or something for a band. And then when I flopped it into my sound system, I had a bazookas. I don't know if you know what bazookas are.
Oh, dude, you know, bazookas were the shit.
Yeah,
And
I had
it's funny because you made a great point. I haven't thought about this in years, but like when you had your first car, every guy put more money into the sound system than the actual car because he's like you thought you were a badass and you like
yes,
girls are gonna love me because
yes,
my car is loud and awesome.
right, yeah, not when you're 5'3" and 5'3" and 8. No, I'm only kidding. I was just no, but I slipped it in. I slipped it in, and and I had heard Alive, and Alive was the song that pretty much like, so you go 1 2 3, like Alive, Alive. I just want to hear McCready's like, and you're like, oh, you're just kind of instantly drawn, and it was just like the deep bass like kicks in, and I was just like, so we would just drive around like my town, and we only played one disc, and it'd be fucking Pearl Jam's 10. Like we would get a 30 pack, and this is not anything, but like for 18-year-olds, 30 pack was like more than enough for like 4 years or 5 years. And then you just pitch in $5 each, and you're like, all right, well, this is fun, right? Let's go around looking for parties because nobody wants us. We just drive around avoiding the cops and drinking, a 30 pack of Bud Light. That was cool. So
Well,
that was my experience. So that was the first song, Alive, 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 Alive. And I know that's the song that pretty much that a great majority of the fans will say that introduced them to the band and made a great impact on their lives. And I think the band knows that too. That it's that song, and I love that entire album. And I kind of like don't like the fact that they don't like it, but who the fuck cares about if they like it? We like it.
it's interesting because like one cool thing that I always loved about music, and I think we'll get into this a little bit later, is like the fact that like there's these like when you look back at that album, that brings you back to a moment of like getting your buddy Chris to listen to it. Like it brings back memories from a while ago that like if it was like I don't know Hanson or some shit like you'd forget about, but no, this is like an impactful
Boom Bop,
moment.
yeah, Boom
That's
Bop, yeah. I still listen to that shit. Like I swear to God, if Boom Bop comes on, I am cranking my system because I am a child of the pop music. Like
oh my god,
as much as I love Pearl Jam, but I listen to friggin' like Taylor Swift, and and it's just like it's like kind of cool. It's just like that's just what you should just love music. But Bop by the Hansons, like by Hanson's awesome. I still listen to it, and I swear to God, if it doesn't come on much, but I don't have it on my YouTube, iTunes or anything. But like it's just like great.
so do you have bazookas in your Jeep? Is that what you're telling me? Like you're really bringing it all full circle now?
No, I don't. I actually today I installed so I kind of was back then into car audio, and today I kind of like as you're a child, when you're a kid, you're like you were introduced to Kenwood and Alpine, right?
Yep.
Which is
Oh yeah.
the top names and stuff like that. And then when you go off of that, you go into like if you wanted nice speakers, you want Boston Acoustics, and then if you wanted a nice subwoofer, JL Audio was the shit. So I got my first JL Audio subwoofer today for my Jeep. So it was an exciting day. It was really exciting day because it's just like I'm 40 years old, 47 years old, and I feel like a little kid in my Jeep. So I really do.
But you know what it is? I think like you know what's interesting too, talking about like aging. Isn't it crazy? Like if you look back at when we were growing up and people that are our age, like they looked much older than like we look nowadays. Like I look at like my grandfather who passed when he was 46, like or 47. I'm sorry. Like he looked old then. Like he looked like he had gray hair, big beard. Like he just looked. People don't look old nowadays. So like I think like we bring our youth a lot. We bring our youth along further than a lot of the generations before because they were forced to grow up much faster. Where we're like, you know what? We're having fun. Time's short.
And,
You know.
and then I think it's music driven. Like it's music driven where you just have a passion about something, and like like for myself, if I go to Pearl Jam, man, if I'm not dancing my ass off, it wasn't a show. It wasn't a show. If and I hate like being restricted to that little space that you have, and then you're like, you don't understand me, dude. I have to jump around, and luckily I'm a small little guy, so I can just jump around in my own little area
Yeah.
without like flailing and stuff like that. So, but yeah, but it's kind of music, and I think maybe the diet. Like my parents say, it's the diet because, like we didn't have much food growing up, so maybe it's the diet, better diets in America. So
Now, when you came to America later in life, is that correct?
no, I actually came here in 1981. So it was actually funny. April Fool's Day, I landed in Boston, Massachusetts, and then um, um, they put us in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is kind of like the New Hampshire border.
Yep.
So I kind of grew up, and I was like kind of here. So 1981, I would have been like maybe 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I went into school and stuff like that, and I met like went to school and just kind of like wanted to go after it because we went to like refugee camps and stuff like that where we didn't have anything. Even like a sip of Coke was like the Pepsi. Well, Pepsi was like the biggest deal of the day. That was my thing. I was like, if I could get a sip of Pepsi, that was great.
Wow.
And now you have all the amenities, of course. But yeah, I got here in 1981 and been living here and love it. I greatly appreciate this country. Love it, love it, love it. And I always think about like how if I didn't come, if I'd grown up in my country, what would happen? What would have happened to my life? And there's so many possibilities, and that's why I think music kind of fills it. And then I'll tell you the song that on Gigaton, that really is my favorite is River Cross because that's what we had to do to leave. So
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, it kind of interesting life, but kind of.
No, I mean, listen, I mean, I think people like myself and other people that were born here or lived a life that they didn't have family that struggled or things like that that don't understand that they take that for granted, and it's kind of humbling to hear someone talk about coming here at 5 and their family having to cross that river to get that freedom and the ability to do things that they just couldn't do in their own country. So no, I respect that. I respect a lot of people, when it comes to that because it takes a lot. I mean, it's a scary thing to think that, people. And I didn't think this was going to go on this topic, but it's an interesting topic nowadays where you think about people that are, living in a country that their family, they're scared at nighttime. They don't have the amenities or the necessities that they'd want, and they're
Yep.
struggling to get somewhere where they can just be wanted. And when I lived in Boston, going back 2004, I lived like 3 blocks away from Fenway Park, right across from the gardens, the public gardens,
Right.
in an efficiency apartment. And my neighbors were from India, and it was a father and one, two,
Multi-generational,
three,
probably.
four. There was 7 of them in an efficiency apartment,
Yeah.
and they were the nicest people in the world, and they were just happy to they were the happiest people in the world living what basically is the size of my studio, but they were just
Yeah.
happy to be able to do things they couldn't do. And it just shows you like so I don't know, it is what it is, but I'm just grateful that you were able to come through. So you hear Pearl Jam's 10, you're 18 years old, live speaks to you, albums come across. When do you really start transitioning into like your real depth of love for the band?
Well, I think it's that first album. I'll be honest, like, so it's not just Alive. It's just that entire album, like, and then you go like you kind of go back and skip it back and forth, and like so the next song that I really loved was Garden. Like
Mm,
Garden was awesome, and then of course everybody loves Black,
sure.
and then you kind of like listen to everything, and then you like go back to Release, and then you're like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And then so I remember like going off to college. So I graduated in '92. I went off to college, and I'm so excited to fucking get the next one. I'm like, oh, and we come back from college and we're talking about all the Pearl Jam stuff, and all my friends are Pearl Jam fucking freaks too. Like my whole town is we all grew up with Pearl Jam, so I don't know, I don't know where to go from there. But it was just all that. But where did I lose my way? I will tell you. It
Okay.
was probably around like No Code, which I kind of lost interest.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting. What made when you heard No Code? What was it? Just because it was just a different sound that you were
I
accustomed
I
to?
think I think it was maybe just like different times in your life where I think at that time I had gotten married and there was other things more important than music and stuff like that. So I wasn't, and maybe yeah, that was this. Yeah, and I lost complete interest. No Code, Riot Act. I lost complete interest. I really did.
Wow.
I got married. I got married in 1998. So another part of my story that you don't know is I I graduated in 1996, right? Um, so then I had an arranged marriage. So my wife, right, is arranged.
Wait. Time out. Hold on.
Yes, yes.
This show might go down a very interesting path. I'm very much a fan of the show 90 Day Fiance, and I love arranged marriages and 90 Day Fiance. So your wife that you're married to right now
Yes.
was arranged.
Yes, it was arranged. Yes. So I went to. So after I was, we'll go back to everything. But 1996, I graduated from college, and as part of being a son, the oldest son, I had to go return to my country and do a sabbatical for my parents. So I entered the temple. I became a monk basically. So I shaved my head, everything.
Wow.
So then, and then as part of that, they were like, well, like you can meet this girl, and I was like, all right, well, let me meet her. And not that when I was wearing the robe, I could not talk to her, but I just like kind of like once you left the monastery, you could actually talk to her, whatever. And then I just kept in touch with her, and my in 1998, we just kept in. Back then, it was just like strict airmail. Like there was no none of this stuff. So it was like took about 2 years, and then we just talked, and then she didn't write English, which is crazy, right? So so I had to write, and then her father was had some English like knowledge, and he would translate to her, and that's how we were married. So 2 years later, I returned. In 13 days, I was married, and
Wow.
I still remember my dad asking, "You sure you want to get married?" I'm like, "Whatever you want me to do."
Now this might sound silly, and if I and this is offensive, please tell me. But like, because I know some cultures you have to like a family has to give something to marry someone. Did your family have to give up anything to marry her because it was
Yes, yes,
arranged?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. So there's a dowry. So it's a wedding band, a wedding ring, and then plus whatever money that a dowry, what they want for their, and so yeah, that was paid.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
this is more interesting than Pearl Jam here now. So like the family puts a value on their daughter that they're giving up.
It's not like a specific dollar amount.
Sure.
Whatever. I think that like you just have to give them enough that say the marriage doesn't work out, at least the daughter has something, like, or it starts a marriage, and you have something where you just
Okay.
can't go ask somebody and be like, you have nothing, your family doesn't have anything. You can't just ask them for a hand in marriage because they don't want to put their daughter in that situation.
Sure.
But because, and then the only thing that really was, to be honest, and I'm really honest and frank about it, is because the fact that I lived in America. Like they wanted their daughter to come to America and have maybe a better opportunity for success than staying, in Laos. So that was it.
That's
but,
interesting.
but
Now,
but we've been together since 1998. So how many years is that? And don't ask me. Don't get people do not like guys do not remember this shit. Like I don't.
well, hold on a second. Don't speak for me. My wife
I
doesn't know
know
this
you
shit.
guys don't
I,
do, but I
I
don't.
can. I August 23rd, 2005 is when I first met my wife at a Starbucks after talking on MySpace. We got married on November 21st, 2008. We've been together 16 years this August. I can tell you her birthday. Yeah, no, we're all different. I remember I'm like good with that kind of shit, but no, it's God. So let me ask you this: knowing what you know, and we'll get back to Pearl Jam in a minute, but knowing what you know and how you and your wife got together, would you do that to your child? Like, would you arrange a marriage for him, or would you rather him go out and do it more of what is more traditional to me?
Oh no, being live in America now. My son's 18 years old, and yeah, no, I would want him to explore. I'm
Mm,
trying to kick him out of my house. You know, seriously, like I swear to God, because college was one of the greatest experiences that I had, and I want him to go. Explore, find yourself, and make friends because and it's just he's it's just like one of the greatest experiences was college for me.
sure.
Like I met so many great fucking people, and if I don't keep up with them and stuff like that, but it's still every time we talk, we just pick up from where like 1990, 1996. We can still pick it up. Like it's like hey, do you remember that day? On that night we fucking got drunk, and then you just pick it up, and it just like I want that for him because there's so many things, so many opportunities here in America that he couldn't have in back home. But so yeah, I would want him to
That's
do a date, and he's taller than me, so I imagine you have a chance with somebody like it was still. I think my parents were like, dude, you're like 5'3", you're not gonna get married to. And I went to a white high school, like a really white high school, and they're like, and I went to white college too. Not that anything, but it's just like you don't have a chance, dude.
yeah, yeah.
And
I
if
don't
I
know.
offend anybody, please don't be offended. When I say I just grew up with a lot of Caucasian kids,
No,
and,
it's
and a lot, but I just loved everything about like you could be black, you could be Indian, you could be. I just embraced everybody. Like basically, you're my friend, and that's it. So please don't take that
no,
any
no, 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 no. I think
when I
you're
say
this
when I say like
this
Caucasian.
is your story, and this is how it came through, and it's the truth. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, and I'm
You're not.
sorry to be
You
bogging you
want?
down my story, but
No, Dale, this is great. So you Pearl Jam was real heavy into you. Then you did some family commitments. You kind of fell off the bandwagon. Fell off the bandwagon a little bit. You meet your wife. You get married when you come back. So it wasn't a
yep.
short
So
thing.
yeah, 2003, my son was born. And then we go through rough times. So that was my first show. So my son was born. And now, see, now I know, like I know my son's date of birth. Yes, yeah. So
See?
it's January 17th, 2003. So so he was born, and this is maybe 5 or 6 months into it. My wife and I are having like marital issues and stuff like that. So I previously when so let's go back. So after I left college, I left high school. I went to college, and I was living in frigging Fairfield, Connecticut, which is like
Mm,
in between Hartford and New York City, and even like Camden, right? Like I
yep.
could have gone to a bunch of fucking shows, but because of my parents didn't have any money, and college was more important. I didn't really know anything, so I never went to see them. So kind of like didn't go see the show. So why people like some people ask, well, why did you go see them when you were younger? Well, your parents had set money aside for you to go to college, not for you to go to shows. And,
It's
and,
true.
and you know, and if anybody's been in college during those years, like even getting a meal was tough. I remember many times. I don't know if you've done it. Many times I've snuck into the what you call it, the cafeteria, just going through the back, and just because I look like I could be Mexican, they let me in. Yeah.
Well, no, it's the truth. So when I went to BC, there was if you ever been in the cafeteria at Boston College, I went there for 2 semesters because I couldn't afford it after that. It was not fast food only goes so far. If you go into the cafeteria, if you actually cut the line and go in the front of it, and you say, "Oh, I forgot something,"
Yeah,
like
you
if
forgot like the
you forgot,
past.
I forgot, I chart, and they don't ever question it because they're there just scooping shit or handing.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
so this was a routine, but I think I ended up getting caught. Yeah, because God, I was young and I couldn't afford nothing. I was working 3 jobs and trying to just be able to afford my payments in college and rent, and
Yep.
and Boston's expensive, man.
Yeah, no.
It was tough.
Definitely the truth. Like if everybody's been to college, we all knew. Like seriously, every meal was a struggle, and if you got like, and if I went back home or something, like if I got ramen, like ramen, was a good meal for a day, and then God forbid, I see like a little chicken, like fried
Mm,
chicken, not fried chicken, but like we grill some chicken,
yeah.
and my buddies were so cool. Like they knew I had no money, and so they would like share with me, and so that's why I appreciate all the things now because of the friendships that even my friends from college they showed me because there would be days where I'd be like I'm not sure if I can get to eat, but they'd be like share, and then that's where I kind of saw a lot of things where you kind of like shit I want to share.
No, definitely.
So
So
yeah.
so
So go ahead. I'm
2003.
sorry. And I'm leading you down different paths now. I'm sorry. I might be the worst interview of that you might
No,
have.
no, no. It's gonna be hard to top my worst. Now, the worst interview I ever did was not on the Touring Fan Live. It was on Strange Tribe Live. But no, it's gonna be. You're gonna have to really screw things up to be a bad interview. And no, listen.
Okay.
And this show is about learning about you and why you are the person you are and why you love music. Don't listen to Alan and John. Who cares what they say? Just
What are they writing? Those
they're
assholes.
only saying nice things about how much they love you. Continue with your story.
Yes. Yeah. So my first, well, actually, when you asked me if when did I go back to Pearl Jam,
Yeah, so
it was actually
after
it was
you met
actually
your wife. Yeah.
yeah, and we had the kid, and then we were going through some marital issues and stuff like that. So then it wasn't my flight from Boston to my country, which is about 24 hours, like literally, like you're in the air 24 hours, and it was the avocado, the avocado. Like I bought the album, and somehow I got my my sister knew that I love music, so she bought me a Apple iPod, the old one, like
Yep. The big old brick thing.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. I don't have to wear my fucking Sony like
Yeah.
Walkman or anything like Discman, Walkman. So I just completely listened to that. So I was overseas for a long time, and I kept listening to that. Market in the Sand,
Mm.
Unemployable. It was like I thought that was like the sound that they were like 10, and it drew me back. It really did. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
No, it
like
totally
I
does.
thought it was going back to the raw like 90s sound, but I don't know if that's your feeling about the avocado.
With avocado, I remember the first time I heard it. It was definitely different. They definitely had taken a different step in a direction of how they were progressing their albums at that time. Avocado definitely had a different sound as it was progressing, and they were utilizing different ways of marketing and strategy of how to get the music out there. So it was more heard a little bit too than some of the other albums like Riot Act or Binaural. Because Riot Act
Yeah.
and Binaural, they weren't really radio friendly, not necessarily, or even like commercially friendly. Where Avocado was more commercial friendly.
Yeah.
And no, I did. I really dug Avocado, and it was, that tour too. Following Avocado had some amazing shows. I mean, think about the acts that opened up for him during Avocado.
And like,
I think that was Linkin Park in Poland that year. I mean, all these.
I think I'm not hearing, but
What?
I can't. I when you were talking, I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
I just had
Is
this
that me?
great. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes,
I just had this.
Jared. Yeah,
I just gave this great speech. And you lost everything.
yeah. I did. I did.
Oh,
I was just doing this because I couldn't hear.
Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So the avocado was awesome, and so I like really loved it. And then when I was in my home country, I met another Pearl Jam fan, a friend or whatever, just a random backpacker from Australia, and he just happened to be like, "Yeah, I love Pearl Jam too." I was like, "Yeah," and I had my copy of my CD, and he was traveling down south. So I'm like, hey, dude, you like Pearl Jam too? Take my copy. That was my only copy because back then it was still on CD and or stuff like that. I was like, I had loaded into the thing, and I'm like, take it, and then like it was just kind of cool. Like I met him. His name was Ken from Australia, not Ken Taylor, the artist. Just his name was Ken, and he was just traveling through bus to get down south, and it was just awesome. And I remember like sitting with friends and singing Black, and everybody has a drunken version of every Pearl Jam song,
oh,
right?
of
Like
course, of course, of
yes,
course.
and then
Everyone
but
has
you
that moment. Yeah.
sound like Eddie. You don't sound like Eddie.
No, no. There's only a few people that
Tiger,
can say.
yes.
So let me go back because it seems like everybody lost sound. I guess it was my end, not yours. But Avocado for me was the moment the band went from being just a band to being a leader in music. Like they had all these amazing artists opening up for him. My Morning Jacket, Interpol, Kings of Leon, Linkin Park opened up for him in Poland. All these bands, and then you also started seeing some of the bands we grew up listening to, like X. All these different bands that were like huge influences to Pearl Jam. Well, now they're opening up for Pearl Jam. So you started seeing this transition of the band going from, hey, we're just this band that everyone loves to like, hey, we're actually a band that people respect, and we're starting to recognize that, and we're gonna respect the fans for understanding that. And I think Avocado was the changing point for me of when they really started going from just, hey, we're a band to, hey, we're a leader in music.
Yeah, what was it? Just you kind of brought me back. I don't know that was what it was. I don't. And a lot of people will ask me like, "Do you know all the lyrics and shit?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Like they're like I mumble them just like Eddie. I mumble them just like Eddie. Okay, yeah, and then you could follow your script. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm taking you off the trail all the time. Like I don't know
No,
if like
Dale,
if you're.
I'm gonna give you the secret to how I do this show, and this is the damn truth with everybody. The way I did it with Kathy the other day, the way I've done it with Tyler, with everybody that's ever been on the show. I believe that if you over prepare for something, that it feels scripted and it feels fake, and then people that are tuning in don't feel like they're a part of their conversation. They're just tuning into a questionnaire, and that just bores the shit out of me. I want to hear the stories of everything. Like I want to hear the stories as they're coming along. So, but once again, I apologize. The internet all just went down a minute ago. We're back up. Everything's good. I apologize about that. But share this again with everybody and go across. But we're back. So Avocado pops out. You see that you've already seen him in 2003. We're back in a 2005 now. Avocado's around. Is
Yeah,
this?
so let me tell you about my first show. So the
Yeah,
first
definitely.
show. So let's go back to the fact that I loved them since 1991, 92, and then I go off to college and stuff like that, and get married and all that shit. So I would just kind of give you a quick clip notes here of what the timeline is. And so 2003, I just had my son, and we're my wife and I was like my brother who's my plus one, Thomas, is he's just an avid concert goer. He will go see fucking anything that plays live because you know what he says. Anybody has the balls to go up there and play live is fucking like the greatest thing ever. Like you really like just to see somebody like he's like, dude, the guy went up there and did live, like something live. Like, could you do that? I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, that's why the guy's got bigger balls than you. And so he goes to see everything. And so he's my concert connection. And I'm like, hey, dude, I want to go see, Pearl Jam because that was the, so they had played in 2003, Mansfield twice, and they had gone down to Camden, but they're come back up for the July 11th show And I was like, yeah, can you give me tickets to that? He's like, yeah, I think I got buddies to go. And that was a game changer for me because I saw them live in the flesh, and that was the experiment. I don't know if you were there.
No,
7-11-03,
nope,
the
was not
experiment.
there.
So they open with the acoustic set, and they jam it, and it was just like I was in the lawn, and I still loved it. And then I could not. I don't know if you know Mansfield or
Very familiar with it.
yes. So I got so like so into it and so wasted. When we came out, we could not find our car. We did not even know remember where the fuck we parked.
The only
Like
time that's happening was in 2000. Oh god, I got the poster up on the wall. I gotta remember what fucking year it was now. I think it was 2008. They played Virginia. They played up in Northern Virginia, and the rain was so heavy that as we were leaving, people were walking in the grass, and their shoes were getting like absorbed by the ground, and they were like leaving their feet, so they had to go back to pick up the shoes. So people were walking out with their shoes in their hands with like dirty feet, and everyone's car that was parked in the field was stuck. So it was brutal. It took me and my buddy Mike Keene went up to go see them, and it took us. We were stuck for hours. It was miserable. The show was great. Kings of Leon opened up for him. It was a great experience. I met I think I met that's the first time I met Rob. But it was a great experience, but it was just fucking rainy, miserable. It's like and it's just like God. Yes, at the Jiffy Lube venue. Nissan venue. Yes, Tanya, who was on the last episode of Hitchhiker, I bet she went to that because we're in that little same circle of shows we go to. But that was a shit show. That and
shit show,
radio,
yeah,
yeah. The two times I've ever been to a show up there was that and Radiohead, and both times were the worst. But so
yeah.
so 2000 so Avocado Tour hits and goes. You see him in 2003 at the Experiment. Let
Yep.
me
And then
were you heavily into like the message boards or like social media at this time to like
no,
keep up
no,
with it?
actually, that is a great question. I actually thank you for asking that because the message boards and stuff like that. I got into so after I saw that first show, I was like, well, it's got to be like you could join a club or something like that. And I found it, and then you have to pay, and I don't care. I think it was that $35, whatever. And then you have to make your username, and I didn't realize that username would ever be like you can't change it, right?
No, it's once you. I mean, unless you get a whole new account, but it's like a one-time deal.
Yeah, so and then like it's like the forum to me, and I would want to say that a lot of people who would use Facebook would always kind of agree too that it's hard to navigate. It's hard to navigate, like you posted in the wrong place and stuff like that. So I was never a big into the forums because it was just like I was just like I just see an avatar and somebody's like thing where they made up like a in my tree or something, and I'm like I don't know who that is, and you like kind of like so I was never into that, and then it wasn't until Facebook that I saw people. It wasn't 2016 that I saw people, and I'm like and I saw their pictures and stuff like that, and so it's just like really really cool. I don't know what's your opinion. I mean, I know that there's more stuff on the forum if you know how to correctly. Like even Boston Lou has told me the forum is much better, but you got to kind of know your navigation. It's like this like spider web that you have to kind of get
Here,
through.
here's my
If that makes sense.
here's my opinion about the forums, and this might upset some people. The biggest reason I left the forums originally was because I felt like there was people in there that had an ego that like they were almost as big as the band or they were better than people, and like they were posting on a daily message, and people were like following through with everything they say. They would say they'd make up shit and people would just believe it. And it got
So
to the
it's the
point where
gospel.
yeah, and it got to the point where it's like, I'm just here to talk about the band. I don't give a shit about any of this other stuff. Like, I don't care about this. So, I was really heavily. I left the Pearl Jam forums for a while. I went to the Sky is Scrape for a little bit. And I think it was Red Mosquito was the other one. I don't know. Something Brad or somebody will tell me in a minute what it was called.
Was that on MySpace?
No, my God, MySpace. I met my wife on MySpace. But yeah, no, it's kind
Well,
of like.
see, so you and I are not different. I was arranged marriage. You met yours on MySpace. What that make? What is the difference there?
Well, here's the thing. So we here I'll tell you the quick story. Maybe you'll get a kick out of this because we talked about how people met. So my wife actually met, and my buddy Paul. You know Paul.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yep. I wasn't gonna say his last name. You just threw him under the bus, but we'll take it. Just totally joking. I've told the story before, but Paul's shorter than I am. I'm 6'5". He's like 5'11", and my wife's tall. So when they met, she just, and then he had mentioned that my taller friend's moving to Lynchburg. We're in a band. He's moving here, whatever. And she's like, oh,
PA,
okay.
Lynchburg, PA, right?
Yeah, Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh,
And,
sorry.
no, it's all good. It's all right. And so
Yeah, once I go past New York, I really don't care.
Jesus. Well, I'll be moving further away in Kansas, so I'll be even further away from you. But so anyway, so she messaged me, said, "Hey, I heard you're the taller friend." I said, "Yeah, if you want to know about Lynchburg and move, around, I'll introduce you." We met the day after, after I moved here, and that was 16 years ago this August. We've been married, God, 12,
See, the number
13.
always escapes your head, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. I mean, your kids get older, you get older. It's just, I don't know. It's like what's the old saying? I keep getting old and the girls keep saying the same. It's weird. I don't know. It's just the craziest thing in the world.
I always try to hear by happy wife, happy life. I try to adhere to that. That's
Dude,
that's what they tell me. I don't know, but
So do you surprise your wife for things? Like, do you try to do things to make her happy and things?
no, I think we're kind of like pretty much like they're like she doesn't like Valentine's Day. She's like, you don't have to show me your love on that day.
Hmm.
Like it's like she's like, why would you want to spend? Yeah, and it's just like that. Like you don't have to give me anything on Christmas Day. I'm like, well, I kind of get off easy. Like I really don't have to try.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
good.
the only thing that she probably gets pissed off is when I go see Pearl Jam. That's
Well, let's talk about your wife getting pissed about you seeing Pearl Jam, shall we? Because this is a story that I cannot. You started hinting this to me the other night. I said I don't want to hear anything more. Save it for the show.
yeah.
So
So go ahead.
go ahead. So tell me about the time you really upset your wife.
I really upset my wife, which is actually the last tour, which was like 2018, and there's so many other things in between. So I want to go back if that's
We can go back, yeah, but we're talking about wives. I think this is a prime example. We can talk about our wives getting upset with us when we go see the band. So please tell us.
okay. So 2018. So 2018. So it was what was it? It would have been September 8th and 10th, which is the Seattle shows, right?
No, September 2018, 6th and 7th was Boston. So Chicago, it was then Missouri,
Oh
Chicago,
no, it was August. August. I'm sorry,
August, yeah,
August. August 8th and 10th, right?
something like
Is that
that.
what it is?
Something.
Okay,
We'll go
I'm
with
just
that. We'll
trying to
go with
put
that.
my. Well, we'll go with that. No, I'm just. So can somebody? Because I really think it really
Hold
was
on,
August. Yeah, August 8th and 10th. Pretty sure.
I'm
Five,
checking right
eight.
now.
Okay, so it's 2018. So so this is, and I think this is a great story about like, because you might be in a relationship where the other person, your significant other, loves Pearl Jam, and they will go out of their ways, and they're like, yeah, you want to go, and then when you have a spouse that doesn't like them that much, and then you spend too much time dwelling on Pearl Jam, they kind of don't like it. So, so was it August?
Chicago was August 18th and 20th.
Okay, so it was August 8th and 10th.
It was Seattle.
Seattle. So I 2018 I had gone back to my home country.
Okay.
So normally, so my son loves to go back there, and we go back there. We go back for a month, and usually I'm always like begging her, like, can we stay a little longer? Even though I know, and this is like people would be like, you stayed a month and you didn't weren't enough. I'm like, yeah, but when you go and you travel, like seriously, it takes you 3 days to get there 3 days to get back, and then you're kind of adjusting for like jet lag and everything. It
Sure.
doesn't seem long. So I'm always begging her like, can we stay another 2 weeks? And so she's always says no, right? So we've been going like 2017, 2016. So that year, 2018, she asked me like, hey, I want to stay a little longer. Do you want to stay? I'm like, no, I don't want to go. I want to go back home.
Uh-oh.
and she's like, well, I want to go Cambodia because I want to go see Siem Reap. I don't know if you know what Siem Reap is.
No.
That's the ancient temples.
Okay.
So she's like, I've never been there. I want to go there. I'm like, no, I don't think we should go back home. And so we go back home, and we get back home. I haven't unpacked anything yet, and I'm like, hey, I gotta go to Seattle. She's like, what? Where you going? Seattle. Where's Seattle? Because my wife doesn't have a good she doesn't have a good a gauge of a geography yet.
Okay.
I'm going to Seattle, and it's 6 hour that way. And she's like, why? Well, Pearl Jam's playing. She's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, well, I had booked everything, and I'm gonna go see them, and they're gonna play a couple shows, and I wanted to go back out to Seattle. And she's like, fuck it, A. Okay, fine. And she didn't like it, but I still was able to go with my brother. And that's why if you met me in Seattle that 2018, I wasn't the happiest of campers because my wife wasn't really happy with me. So I was like kind of like damn, and I'm like, oh shit. I should be like telling her shit like that, but I'm like, damn it, I want to do what I want to do. And
Sure.
this is gonna be like sound like really and then somebody's told me like I'm really entitled, but I'm not, because I just said like she doesn't like my stuff for Pearl Jam, and I'm like, I'll just go because I'm like, there's only fucking 7 shows this year. I'm gonna go. So I go to that show, and we had a great time. I met like so many great people. We were at the Wish. I'm sorry, at the party, and then we were at just Pike Street and stuff like that. So I went to the show, and I it's great. I think night 2 was probably the best show of the whole entire thing. What did you think? Were you there too?
I was not in Seattle, no. But I've watched them, and I think I agree with you. Well, it was different because each show was different. So night 1 was exciting because it was the first time they did it, but night 2 was the better set list, in my opinion.
Yes, I thought so too. So it was really cool. And then seeing the real homeless problem, it was
Yeah.
really, it really felt real. Like, when we're going to our hotel, we were staying in downtown, and like you could actually see like actually human feces on the sidewalks, and then it's not a
Yeah.
dog, it's somebody that actually took a dump and didn't pick it up. If you had a dog, they'd pick it up, but if this is like a real, and it's just downtown, and it was really kind of sad in a way, but you always felt good because you kind of felt like you were helping the band
Yeah.
with this, even though what we came down to see, but it was really kind of cool, and I could see like what they were trying to do because it was such a big problem, and you can see like what it is, and then and then you go on YouTube, of course, you see these tents and everything everywhere,
Yeah.
and it was kind of disheartening, kind of in a way, but to see Seattle that way, because I had visited Seattle back in 1996, and I could see Mount Rainier, and I didn't see Mount Rainier because it was just because they had the fires that was going on, and
Mhm.
but it was really really cool. So I so I see the shows, and I fly back home, and my friend Jeff is like, hey, why don't you come with me to Missoula? I was like, no, I cannot go to Missoula. She's pissed as it is. I cannot go to Missoula. He's like, I rented a car and we have extra ticket. All you have to do is get on my car and we're gonna go. You know what? It's a nice little like a really scenic route to get to Missoula. I'm like, no, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I can't do it. I'm just gonna fly back home. So I fly back home to Boston, and so the Missoula happens, right? So then it was like maybe like that next weekend was Chicago. Chicago. This is where the problem starts. So I, in the middle of the night, just decided to pack. Decided to pack, and all you have to do, because you go to Chicago, it's only a couple of days, and then you just have to have a carry-on. So I packed whatever I needed. Of course, is basically my PJ-20 backpack and a carry-on with my whatever needs stuff. So in the middle of the night, I called my brother. I'm like, do not even ring the damn doorbell. Like, seriously, I will be up and I'll see your car. I will, because I couldn't turn on the garage because the garage will make a noise. So I was like, I'll go out the front door. You just pick me up. So so we have an early flight to Chicago, really early flight to Chicago. I get like, I swear to God, I get to merch by like 9 a.m. and the line is up the fucking yin yang,
Yeah.
up like, it's like crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm hauling my carry on, and I'm like, it's up the block. It's really up the block. Like,
Yeah.
were you there?
No, not that year, but it's Fenway was like that too. I left at both 2016 2018. I left the damn airport with my fucking carry on my suitcase, rolling on up to friggin' Yawkey Way to get to the damn line to make sure I got the shit I got the day before the fucking show.
Yes. So this is like at 9 in the morning. So we land at like 7 in the a.m. So we had left at like 4 a.m. and we got there. And I get there to the merch by like 9:30, and I'm still, it's like way backed up. So I'm like howling my shit back there. And so I'm like, oh, I'm pretty cool. So nobody knows like what's going on. Like, my wife doesn't know what's going on.
What I just could I would love to see the video of your wife waking up. She's like, "Oh, Dale's not here." She goes downstairs. She does her normal routine, looking around. She sits on the couch, puts the TV on or something like that, and then it's like 1 o'clock. She's like, "Oh, where the fuck's Dale?"
Yeah, no. So it wasn't until like, so it may have been about 11 o'clock there. So we're 11 o'clock there, which is 12 here. She's like, he's not fucking here. Where the fuck is he? She keeps calling my phone, and I have, so as anybody know, I have two devices.
Oh, whoa! I didn't realize I was dealing with a two phoner. A two phoner. I would have rolled out a bigger. I would have rolled out a serious red carpet for you if I knew you were a two phoner.
No, it's nothing special. But so she calls both my devices, and I have it on silent. I'm like, I'm not talking to her. I'm like, this is not, and I know it's not going well. It's not going to go well. And but you know what? The great news, I met Scott Major. Like,
Okay.
and Scott Major's like, hey Dale, like, hey Scott, how you doing? And I met his wife Carolyn. It was awesome. So you're in line and everything. So then it wasn't until like we're like easily like walking, like, it's hours to try to get merch, right? Whatever. And then she calls my brother, and my brother's my plus one, and my brother's like, dude, she's blowing my phone. Can you fucking call her? And I'm like, so I'm at the there's a a barbecue place right in front of Wrigley, and I'm like, I'll be back. And I met like cousins there, and I'm like, I'll be right back. So she lays it to me like, she's like, I want a fucking divorce right now. Yeah, I
Oh
can't, whatever
shit!
it is, I'm gonna fucking sell the house. You cannot do this shit. And I'm like, I'll be back on like Monday. And she's like, no, you can't do this shit.
Oh my god!
So if you had met me, so the whole point of that whole tour was, so okay. So if you had met me in Chicago, and if you knew that I wasn't really myself, that was what happened.
Oh
And so she
god!
sends me like threatening messages, and then I don't know if you know what the Charlotte 13 is.
Of course I do. It's I had to sell
The
my shark. I
Charlotte
went.
13.
Yes, the
Charlotte
hunt.
13, which is like a bee's nest, which is like a
Yes,
hornet, right?
beautiful.
So
Yes,
that's like
yes.
beautifully framed, framed. And I was like, yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry, honey. I'll be back on Monday. I'll make it back. Don't worry. And she sends me the thing. She just like takes a hammer to it, like a hammer to it. Which you know what? A lot of my female friends said they don't blame her. They don't blame her. It's my fault, and I completely agree. So, yep. And so so my wife completely demolished my thing, and then I got back home and I was like, oh fuck it, I'll burn it. Like, it was just so destroyed, I didn't want to see it
Oh,
anymore. So I just like burned it, and
mm.
gone now. But you know what? The good news is I found another one, so I have another one.
Yeah, that's on my short list of I had to sell mine a couple of years ago when times were tough. I just had to like make ends meet, and that was one I knew that I could sell it quick and make enough money. But it's been that's been a tough one. That's been a tough pill to swallow. There's only a few things, and that's one of them. But no, that's a
Okay.
it's a great print.
So
But yeah,
after
so
I came, after I came back, after I came back, she done, and so after so Boston was next. Boston was the
yeah,
next show,
that's where I first met you.
and yeah, and basically, she was like really upset and everything. I was like, well, you know what? I forgot to tell you about this, but I'm asking. Like, I invited like 4,000 people to the house,
Thank you, love you. That's my wife bringing me
so
beer.
I had a Labor Day barbecue at my house.
That's right, because I remember seeing pictures online. So you had all these people at your house when your wife was pissed at you.
Well, yes, yes, it was
You
like I
said
was.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes. So if you were at my barbecue, so it was in between the shows. So it was September 2nd, which is the first show. So Labor Day was the third, and the fourth was the last show. That's the last show we ever been. But yeah, so I was expecting like I had an open invite if you wanted to come to my house, and amazingly like almost about like 60, 70 people showed up, and
60,
we had to
70
cater,
people.
yeah, we had to cater the party, and yeah, so my wife had to put up with that. Like people just showing up at my house, like, "Hey, is it okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool, it's cool." Yeah, showing up at my
Oh,
house, and they're all in my backyard, and I'd rented a tent. Like it was really good. Like it was a really good setup. I got tons of food and stuff, and it was really cool. But she put up with that, so I guess
oh.
it's no, tell your wife if you or tell your significant other what you're doing. I mean, that's the point of the story. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my 2018 story, and that was the last show. But yeah, my wife, God bless her, man. She puts up with my shit. So if you have a significant other that puts up with your shit, God bless them because they don't understand, and that's what the thing. They don't understand the passion.
I will say this about my wife. I've been to a lot of shows. I do this. And like tomorrow we have a conference call for the touring fan live. I do multiple shows a week. I'm always creating and all this stuff. And no, she's real like cool about it. And like God, today I was gonna surprise her. I was gonna get her tickets to go see Foo Fighters at MSG and like just surprise her, like take a train up there next Sunday and just come back so we can have like a time together. Of course that didn't work out, but no, like she's. I will say that my wife's pretty awesome. Like, look, she just came down here and brought me a beer and
Yes, she is she watching upstairs? She's like, I noticed you were like running
no,
low.
no, no, no. So I texted her and the exact words I said is, "Can you beer me, please? I will thank you forever." And she came down and brought me a beer.
And if I had texted that to my wife, I would get a big this.
No,
So that's why if I leave the chair, it means I have to get my own beer. And but it is so awesome. So it is really kind of fun to talk about your spouses and your significant others that don't have the same appreciation for the band or could give two shits about it. She's like,
Sure.
like she's like, well, if I asked you to get a permit for to fix the fucking basement, you can't do it. But I know you got fucking like tickets and shit for the fucking show, do it, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I
Mm.
have that. And she's like, well, why you go fucking town hall and get the permit? I'm like, well, that's not precedent. It doesn't. It's not doesn't take precedent. I'm sorry. I need to go see Pearl Jam. So
Let me ask.
yeah, that's
Let's let.
that's like get some. I don't know. Like, well, what else would you like to ask me? I'm sorry if I'm boring anybody.
No, 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 no. It's great. What does because I think for you, I think this is an important question, and I'm real curious about this because I think that this is important to you in different ways. What does the community that's around Pearl Jam mean to you? Because I feel like like, and I've said this, most of my friends, like, I don't have a lot of friends locally. Like, I don't. I mean, like, I look forward to September when I get to see people that I talk to consistently, and we can conjure about that. Um, what does the community mean to you?
In a simple word, it means it's Oh my God, I have to really not have to really think about it. I don't know how I could like succinctly put this because I think the PJ community is the most awesome like community in the world. It means a lot to me because there's so many people that are so friggin' awesome. It's just why like and when we just kind of help each other. I don't know. It's I can't put it succinctly. It is. I just think we want to do what the band says, like care for each other, and just think genuinely we care for each other, look out for each other, love each other, and it's just like I don't know. There's like I'm part of official right, which is about 80,000 people, and I really feel that like there's so many good damn people. I don't know what it does mean to you. I'm like you stumped me with this because I just don't have a word because they are so. I've met so many damn great people in these groups, the PJ community, and they go from like young kids all the way to like 60, 70 year olds that really love it, and it just like they have stories and they just like and all it is a common bond is this band.
Yeah,
Sometimes you try to wrap your head around it, like and I guess that's where I go back to like what my wife doesn't understand. I'm like, you don't understand because you don't understand the community, and
sure,
then yet I don't understand the community because I always think it's always evolving, and it's always like you gotta, it's always like you gotta go around and like there are some parts of the community that's not good, and then you just kind of navigate. So I guess yeah, I don't know, but they're so giving. I mean, we've done we started amongst the waves that was a couple years ago, and now we did footsteps, and we've helped out like seriously. Like it's kind of crazy. I think John said that we raised over $200,000.
wow,
For people, for causes, for things like that, and that's and and what it is they're always giving. They're like always giving. It's like it's the craziest thing. Like when I think that we can't do something, they will boggle my mind and like, yeah, do we'll give you some stuff and you can go with it. And it just like they're so giving in a way, and I think that we ourselves look out for each other, and so that's what my whole thing. And I try to do my best. I really do, and I think everybody else tries to do their best. But it is. I don't know. There's no other community like it. I don't. I mean, I what like again. I found the PJ community, and now I bought a Jeep, and so I'm in that fucking whacked out job too. So I'm like, hey, dude, can you tell me like what rims you got? Like that's like like what size tires? Like really, what? It's kind of whacked out. So my wife has to deal with my Pearl Jam love, and now she's dealing with my Jeep love. So she might not like me as much
oh,
anymore.
you know,
So what I would like, but I in return would ask you, what does the community mean to you?
I will give you a story that I don't know if I've told many people about, and it reflects what the community's meant to me. I don't have a big family per se. Like we're not close by any means. My last child, my daughter's 5, so this would have been about 6 years ago when my wife's pregnant. We had a baby shower, and we had posted about this baby shower, and not a lot of people came, and it is what it is. And it kind of got out that it just didn't really have it is what it was, and I just started getting things that were on my Amazon list for the baby shower purchased and sent to our house, and we had no idea where they're coming from, and it was because of the community, just and it wasn't like big things, but it was like small things, and even the small things meant the world to me. It was just there's a friend of mine that is in Russia that I met through the forums years ago. We don't really talk tremendously, but we communicate every so often. How you doing, whatever. And he bought me something, and he didn't have to do that, and that meant the world to me. And dude, I will tell you this. When the Touring Fan Live was created, it's about community and everything. But when I did my Parkinson's event back in April, and I didn't know how much money I was going to raise. I was like, listen, if I raise $1,000, great. I didn't know how many
Right.
shirts I was going to sell, and I sold a ton of shirts. I mean, I had to keep reordering them, and it's just because of this community of people that have your back, and the closest friends I have, my best friends in the world are all because of this band and
Isn't
what
that
they are.
isn't that like the weirdest thing, but yet you love it because it's just like I don't keep in touch with my friends from college or high school. You do, but then like my chapter in my life is just basically like I look forward to going to a show just because I want to meet up with these people, and that know the meetups, the shows can be always great, but just meeting up with these people and who are genuinely like seriously kind-hearted, like it drives me, I think I'm kind-hearted, and then I see them and like fucking hey, you get kind of like so cool,
Well, it's
and
like it's one of the biggest reasons that I restarted everything. Right? Was
yeah.
I wanted certain people in my life, and one of my favorite people in the Pearl Jam community that means the world to me. That she has been, God, we've bumped into each other at other shows. She's been on the show recently. Tanya Kang is probably one of the most. I adore that woman. She is absolutely amazing. And it's interesting. Like we've known each other for so long. I'm watching her get married
Yeah.
and watching her have kids, and she's watching me. She took pictures, and I have pictures around the house of like all these things, and she's such an amazing person, and I would have never met that person if it wasn't for this band and great. So yeah, no, the community is amazing. I love it, and all these people that tune in, got like Shannon McGooey. That's another person. I've never met her in my life, but she.
Oh, I would love to tell you about Shannon. Like Shannon. So when Let's Play two, so she so I think in 2017 she had flown up. Like she's from San Antonio, Texas. So she's from San Antonio, Texas, and we had a gathering here to see a fucking Pearl Jam cover band at my, like they were playing down the street from my house. It's called it was King Jeremy or Backseat Lover probably. It's fronted by Jason Howes. It's a local like Boston band, and they were playing up here like seriously like maybe 2-3 minutes drive from my house. They fly up here to come to my house to hang out to see a fucking cover band like Shannon Majoey, like is awesome. And then she brings like presents and stuff like that. She brings like gifts and stuff like that. And then I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'll probably like that. I'll see her and everything. And then when Let's Play 2 came out, guess what she did? She flew up here just to watch a damn show with me.
When I first started Tap Time with Anthony, and there was a segment, just a small segment about Pearl Jam in it, like it was, and that was called the Strangest Tribe Minute. This is going back, God, 3 years
Yeah.
ago. She was one of the first people that was like really tuning in then, and then she's followed me through this entire journey and always donating and buying and supporting. No, yeah, it's yeah, she's
Yeah,
an amazing person.
you have to meet her if you on the road. You always want to say if some people you have to meet on the road, you have to meet Shannon Majoey. She's really an awesome person, really wonderful. Except don't meet John Fuller or Alan Zaffran. Those guys are dicks. So don't meet.
I know you busted chops, but I will say that you know, they all these people we're talking about, like even John and Alan, they've been helping me out so much over the last couple weeks with some stuff that we are very excited about announcing soon. But I don't know, it's great. That's what this show is about. It's about the community, not just with Pearl Jam, but in general music and how we come together and why it's so important, what friendships are and stuff. And dude, how many times have we just like got up on a video call and talked and we're like, oh shit, it's been an hour and a half, just bullshitting about stuff. And
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I think he has to go to bed because I'm a night owl. And like, I think these other guys have like real lives and shit like that. So I'm like, oh damn, So it's really been wonderful. Like I said, what I will tell you about anything, if you do vid chats, man, it's the really the this is how you communicate. It's a lot easier, and also I think it just keeps everybody like kind of like real. I don't know how that. And
all right, well,
so is
listen,
it? Well,
go
I
ahead.
don't know. Did I take too much of your time? I can tell you
No.
another story about like random shit. Like, so we were talking about like going to other countries, right? Because
Hmm.
they're like, yeah, okay, you go to America. America's easy. You can go see Pearl Jam in America. I've gone pretty much everywhere in America to go see them. But you go to different countries, that's when it gets strange,
It
you know.
can. It definitely can.
So yes. So I don't have any weird experiences, but Anthony and I talked about it. Like we were talking about, I wanted to go see them in Mexico City. What year was that? 2013 or 15?
It was. I think it was 13. That was. It was like.
13? Yeah,
It was around
it was
Thanksgiving.
November. It was like November or something like
Yes, it
that.
was. It was either on Thanksgiving or like the day or two
Yeah,
before
November.
it.
Yeah, seriously. So so my brother is my plus one, and every time I'm like, they announce a tour, right? Like Lollapalooza in South America, and or they're going to play Mexico City. I'm like, hey, dude, I can get tickets, and we can get just book a hotel and everything. And he's like, dude, I do not, and please,
2015.
if you're 2015, if you're from Mexico and our friends from Brazil, please do not take it in any offense, because this is straight from my brother's mouth. He's like, dude, I don't want to get killed by the cartel. And Anthony has a seriously same story, right? And
Yeah,
I don't know if you
so
want to share that.
when I got to the hotel in Mexico, they told me that I'm like, well, what can I do? They're like, I wouldn't go anywhere. Just, you have this nice hotel, go nowhere. I'm like, what about to eat? They're like, we have nice restaurants here, don't go nowhere. I'm like, what? And then they basically the entire time I was just picked up and dropped off like at the venue, but that wasn't the craziest story. And I'm giving this warning now. If you can be easily offended by by something, you might want to tune off real quick, just for about 10 seconds. When we were going through the bootleg, if you went to Mexico City to see this, and you got dropped off the main, there was these tents of bootleg items, just like these white tents, like if you were at a flea market, just rolling down before you got to the parking lot to get to the venue. And you had they basically, I really feel like the taxi cab drivers and the hotel drivers were paid to drop you off in front of us, because it was just like a train of just drop offs. And I remember the only thing I remember was bootleg everything, anything you could imagine. Pearl Jam's head was on it, including a female product. I don't know how to say this without like being blunt. There was
Uh, of Eddie.
Eddie's face was on a product that females would use, and I'll let you use your imagination.
Yes, yes, you can.
And I was stunned. I gotta find that iPhone because I had taken video as I was going down, and I was just like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was a couple of tents as you were going down, they'd shut the lights off. Like they would shut the lights off as you were like they didn't want you to record it. But I'm a big bootleg T-shirt guy. Like I love bootleg T-shirts, and I have a ton of them.
Dude.
And I bought so many bootleg T-shirts at that event. I remember like when I was trying to close the damn suitcase that night, I was like sitting on top of it, like, and I had to wear like three like sweatshirts home because I didn't want to like pay for carry on. Um, yeah, but as much as I love that experience, like I just like the ability of like hopping on and off a plane and like in the States. Like I just like that comfort. I'll probably go to Canada next because I have a lot of Canadian friends and one of my best friends is up in Canada.
Yeah.
But
Well, we have the say hi to the Canadian Mafia. So we call them the Canadian Mafia, which is
mm,
Adam, and Gino, and a couple guys. But yeah, so I had tickets to actually, and this is actually like, this is again comes back to why I don't tell my wife I'm going to I was gonna fly to Toronto that night,
uh-huh.
go to see the show, just fly back tomorrow, and then she wouldn't have not known. So now it's like fucks up my all plans. I don't know what it is, but getting back on going overseas. So in 2014, maybe I went to. So the easy thing is to go across the pond, like to go across the pond, like to go to England. So they were playing Leeds and Milton Keynes, which was really cool. So and actually we come back and it kind of come full circle. So I just went on at 2014. I didn't know anything about Facebook or anything like that, and I didn't know anything about the Pearl Jam groups. So I just asked, like the travel plans, if how I can do, how I can do Leeds and Milton Keynes, if somebody will help me out, like what do I need to do? How do I get around? Because I don't know anything. And this guy, like, randomly says, "Yeah, I can help you out." And he's like, I can, when you guys land here, he was telling me where to stay and stuff like that. And then he's like, I can collect you from the airport. I was like, what do you mean you can collect me from the airport? That
What?
means pick you up from the airport. So we fly to Manchester. So I was like, I'm a big soccer fan. I don't know if you are. I think you.
I'm
Yes. So,
forced into it. Yes, I get it.
yeah. As a big soccer fan, I went to the 2006 World Cup, and so after 2005, so I had a marital problem in 2005. So I went to Pearl Jam. 2006, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm just going to go for a month to Germany
Oh
with
my!
my brother."
You really are pushing the limits with your wife.
Yes, it's a god. Yeah, yeah. So I went to like 2006. The World Cup was in Germany, which is like I'm like you're in Germany. I'm just gotta. I'm like I'm just gonna go. Pretty much follow the American USA around, and then we started Amsterdam. See, I kind of go. We started Amsterdam and then go into Germany. We spent a month there, and it was awesome. So whatever. So we go to Manchester because of soccer, because I wanted to go see the two greatest. I think one of the greatest. I think it's Manchester United is just one of the greatest like soccer clubs in the world. And then at that time, Manchester City was just up and coming, and so I'm like, I'll go, man. And then it's the home, it's fucking home. Like it's just like really awesome. So we landed in Manchester Airport, and my brother's like, "Who's picking us up?" I was like, "Some guy I met on the forum." He's like, "You fucking asshole! A guy is picking us up from the forum, like the guy you met, like, and he's like a Dave Matthews head. So he's like, that's like I met a guy on the warehouse, that's their thing, right? It's the warehouse
I didn't
from
know that.
well, yeah. So like Dave Matthews is their thing is the warehouse. We're the 10 Club. So that's what I really know. So we get there and it's for the 2013 Lightning Bolt. So we get off the damn plane and the guy just is holding the fucking like the album cover, like the Lightning Bolt like cover, and I'm like, Jamie. He's like, Dayle. I'm like, yeah. All right. So he's like, yeah, collect your stuff, get your things, and we'll get you there. And I'm like, all right, well. And he's like, dude, we're not really doing this, are we? I'm like, yeah, the guy's gonna pick us up, dude. We don't. I didn't arrange for Uber or anything. We didn't have Uber back then.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, the guy's gonna pick us up. And so we walk up to
Jesus.
his car. We walk up to his car, and we do a quick look around, like we look in the window. Thank God, guy has two baby seats. Two baby seats. So he's got so I had to come the smaller guy. So like he had two baby seats, and
Yeah.
on
So you
the
sat in
side.
between them.
Yes, I had to. Yes, but at least I know the guy has kids, right? Like the guy, like he actually values life, so he's not gonna kill us. So so we stayed with him. We stayed with him. He took us to our hotel and everything, and he said, who the Smiths? Do you know the Smiths?
Of course, I know the Smiths.
Yeah. So I went to the Young Lads Club.
Yep.
The it's like an orangey kind of like it's like a boys club or whatever, like whatever. So he took us there, and we actually took some pictures there, and it was really cool. It turned out like the guy was he was a police officer with the Manchester Police Department.
Wow.
So it wasn't like he was like a wacko. He was just like, I love Pearl Jam too, and so since then we've been friends. So last time I went back to London for was it 2017? It was the cancel show? Yeah,
27.
I think
Nope.
2017.
It would be
No,
2016.
2017. I'm sorry.
No,
Yes.
2017. They only played one show. That was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 2016. No,
Was
maybe
it 2016? Maybe
maybe it was
that was
2015.
they
Maybe it was
played London.
2015.
Oh, London. It's London. Yeah, June 2nd or something like that. So that was the day
2014.
that they canceled the show.
Oh, it's
So every
2014.
time was it
2014.
2014?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Because 2015, no London dates. Hold on, 2018 was it 2018? Really? It was 2018. Holy shit! It is
Yeah.
2018. Damn.
Yeah, no, yeah, 2018. I see because like my mind doesn't like really like get dates or anything like that. Yeah, so that was so every time now when I go to England, I will always have to buy a spare ticket for him because
Oh, that's
I'm like,
awesome.
hey, Jamie, I'm like coming out here, and he's big into Pearl Jam, but not as big because he's got young, he says he has young kids, and I'm like, I can understand and stuff like that. So like, hey, can you come down here and hang out with me? And it was really awesome. So we've kept in touch, and my brother has become like really good friends with him, and like
That's
he's like, yeah, if
awesome.
you want to see, he's like, he was a big DMV fan too, and my brother's like, yeah, I got tickets, and sets him up like pretty much with like tickets to when they
Wow.
play London and all around that area. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
will
really
tell.
cool. So the gist of the story is like seriously, whatever you do, Facebook, forum, anywhere, just just don't talk to everybody, and you get a good feel for everybody. And I think in every way, I think everybody in the Pearl Jam community is honestly a genuinely good people. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know, but
we've all had our
now
fair share.
what is your what? Let's go back at it. What is the best show that you've been at?
You know, it's interesting because I was going to talk about this a little bit too. Because with Pearl Jam's announcement today in their newsletter about like voting for the top show based off their list, every show you go to, you leave it and you're like, that was amazing. It was the best show ever, right? Like that's you just have that raw emotion. But then like you start thinking back to things, and Charlottesville, Virginia. The more I think back to 2013, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot, just not about music. There's a lot of it personally, but that's really high up on my list. The 2009, the closing of the four Spectrum Night 4 Halloween was really special.
Yep, that's when they
Um,
played Whip It, right?
and they played Bugs, yeah. And then every everything has its moments for me. But I think like Pearl Jam 20 was special because I was with someone that kind of got me into Pearl Jam. We were like we were second row for Pearl Jam 20, and that was real special for me.
Oh, you get back Pearl Jam 20. I have a story about that.
You got a lot of stories. Well, I think we might have to do. We're gonna have to do interview number 2 with you, Dale. I mean, you got
Pearl
more
Jam
stories.
20 it was weird, like because Alpine Valley, the lawn is, and then with the all through the the
Oh yeah,
F5 fucking thing, the lawn is really really steep.
steep. Oh god, it's miserable. And then the other thing too is like it rained, so you don't want to
It
sit your ass
rains.
on it.
Oh, I have a
And
story about that.
And then do you remember that you had to pay like fucking $25 to rent those shitty chairs? I broke the chair I rented, and then they wanted to maybe pay 50. It was terrible.
So can we
You,
go into Alpine Valley? So I can start from like when they announced it, right? It's like PJ20, and then you're like, okay, the old website, it just would just fucking crash and crash and crash
oh
and
yeah,
crash.
F5 was your friend.
F5, and then you didn't know, like if you had it in your cart, like you had it in your cart, but you didn't know. And so I had signed up for like it was kind of cool that they had like the tour packages that you can go and get the buses and stuff like that. So I was luckily I was able to get that one in my cart the first day, and then they shut down and they're like, well, we don't know what's going on. And I'm like uh all right, so that you just kept hitting. Everybody knows that the Alpine Valley PJ20, it was just a fucking it was just like so bad. Like
Yep. Well, no, this here's the thing, and Randy, who is a live on four legs, had a great statement about this. When you were at Pearl Jam 20 Night 1 and Chris Cornell came out and he sang all of his music, everyone was upset because they felt like Chris Cornell overtook Pearl Jam 20. As you step away from Pearl Jam 20 and look back at what Pearl Jam 20 was and how Pearl Jam 20 was bigger than Pearl Jam, because if you look at the movie that came out and all these other things, and they talk about like this Seattle connection, which I didn't understand until recently when I went to Seattle in 2019 and got to meet all these people. you know, Pearl Jam's bigger than the band. Like the and I think it was Pearl Jam 20 was done really well. It's upsetting because coronavirus I think robbed us of what could have been a really epic Pearl Jam 30. I really think that they had something lined up pretty special, and unfortunately they're just not going to be able to do it. Maybe Pearl Jam 31, I don't know. But Pearl
But
Jam 20.
Alpine Valley was a fun was a like it really was like just getting the whole entire episode to try to get your tickets
Yeah.
and try to get your things that you were there, right?
Yeah, yeah, I was there both nights. My buddy Paul, that we both know, was there. I went with Natalie Silva. I'll give her a shout out. My dad's ex girlfriend from the '90s that got me in a Pearl Jam that we've just since kept together.
Oh, losing you again.
Damn this fucking thing. Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, I'm here.
I keep
So,
stepping on.
so this is like
I keep step. Fuck. Look at this. I'm telling you, Dale. I don't have this many technical difficulties. I get you on the show. I got more technical difficulties than any other show I've ever had in my entire life. And I will tell you, and this is pretty special. You ready for this? This show is episode number 200 of all the shows I've done.
oh, awesome! Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That is awesome, and I'm glad to be a participant of this because you know when you initially asked me, I was really hesitant. I was like really, I was like, hey, can and like I go back to that. Can I vid chat you? Like I really need to know like what's gonna go on,
That
and
was
you like put me down, and you're like, hey, it's gonna be okay, you know, and then um. So I really appreciate this. I mean, and I hope I don't know. There's so many more stories. I mean, I could tell
it.
you my worst show. I can tell you my best show. I can tell this is just so much things.
Well, that's the cool thing about things. But I will tell you this. First of all, one, we gotta still talk about the 10 Club newsletter, which we'll talk about just in a moment.
Yes.
But two, the one good thing about not telling everything, and the reason I do the show is because I just want people to get a glimpse of how exciting it is to love something so much that you've built this world outside your family around things, right? Like what it means. What does that mean to you? You know, that this world of friends and family and how it comes together. Like my wife, you know, she's on the I think I have her going to see her now festival because I think she's interested now in like what the hell is these
Kind of
people what's going on because she actually she's like, well, how many people you think you're going to go? I said, well, I think we're going to have to break it up into like two events at this venue so that we can get, you know, the door covered twice. She goes, what do you mean? I said, oh, I think we're going to sell out both slots. She goes, you think you? I said, I have faith that Friday night with what we're doing, we're gonna sell out both slots. And I said, it's
yeah.
just people I know and stuff. I said we're gonna have a really good time. And I think she's like curious now based off some of the stuff I've done. And she's like, all right, I got to see this shit for real. Like, is he like really able to pull this shit off? And what she doesn't realize is that like there's a touring fan live is not me. I am not touring fan live. There is a multitude of people that are consistently working hard on this behind the scenes. That I'm so super grateful for. But no, Dale, I personally am super grateful for you coming on here and sharing some of your stories. And, I appreciate you kind of opening up about things that some people might not know about and kind of pulling that wall down and explaining some stuff, especially about coming to the country and doing those stuff. And I love the story of that your wife, I'm waiting for her to blow up at you again. And we can do a part two of how many times your wife has you pissed her off.
Oh yeah. I told her so when we were getting the hints of that. So this is what we're gonna be 5 months in advance that I'm telling my wife I'm gonna go to New Jersey. And she's like, why are you doing that for? Well, last time I didn't tell you, so you got pissed off. I'm telling you 5 months in advance and you're still pissed. So you must not be like want me to go. And it's not that. It's just like you know, it's just part of the love of this band. It just the stuff that it's just really like in a way it's just a part of life. Like you have some passions and they don't get it. Like I will never understand handbags, so uh, I don't. And she's like, why are you talking about my handbags? I'm like, well, stop talking about my Pearl Jam, dude.
Brad says, set up a camera in your poster room Is that my poster room or Dale's poster room? Dale, that was a question I was thinking about. We talked about this the other night. Now, I recently had to count every single poster I own, and I know the number of Pearl Jam posters I own, and I know how many other posters. 'Cause I collect a lot of screen print prints, and I was always curious, like, do I have more posters than Dale? Do you know how many posters you own?
No, I don't because I uh I have about like maybe 100 framed, and then what's in the thing? I probably like 700, 800.
Oh, you probably got me beat then. I'm Pearl Jam wise, I'm at 465.
Oh no, I'm way past that.
Oh yeah, you
Way
beat
past.
me, son of a bitch.
Yeah, and there's ones that like I swear to God, like if they suck, I'll probably like okay if it's like the money I'll pay for. But if like right now, this just you can't like and that's a great story too. How I got into the fucking Pearl Jam poster thing is that's a great story. It really is. It's all fucking because of the fucking mystery tubes, those fucking assholes.
Yeah, they got you good on those ones. I got lucky on all three mystery tubes I got. I got real lucky. I didn't keep any of the ones I got from the mystery tube because I knew they were worth too much money that I had to flip them.
Yeah.
I got real lucky on all of them, but yeah, no,
Yeah, maybe that's another thing that you should consider. Like talking about like there's so many there, and one of the passions is like the posters, right? The posters. That's why you go to the merch so much early to get them. And I think that's a great idea. Like if you wanted to get all these great guys, I there's so many great guys in the poster groups and gals too, that are just like they have amazing collections, and they have probably great stories of how they acquire them. I mean, that's just another idea,
well,
you know.
I'm gonna drop a little something for you, Dale, that no one knows about yet, but I'll give you a little tidbit. As Pearl Jam goes heavily into touring, and posters start dropping, I am going to start doing what they call the round table, and it's going to be a twice a month show where we're going to talk about the posters that are coming out, not just by Pearl Jam but
Oh,
other artists
awesome.
in general. But we're going to talk about like the posters that have come out, the artists that are doing it, and I'm going to invite those artists onto the show to even talk about them as well. So yeah, no, definitely.
And oh, that is a definitely great idea because you know why? Because when you see a poster done, and you're like, well, if you don't know anything, you're like, oh, that's a piece of crap. And then when you see the artists interpret it and then like tell you how why they came up with that, you appreciate it much more, and then
Yeah,
you don't call it a piece of crap because
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a piece of crap, and then but you don't understand the whole backstory. So I that is a wonderful. I look forward to that, man. Jesus Christ, that is
Yeah,
I'll be tuning in.
it's interesting. So when I started this show back in 2018, when I started doing live shows back in 2018, right after, Boston, my first show was September 12th, 2018. I did Tap Time
So
Live with Anthony.
you went back home. You
Yeah,
went back home. And you're like, I'm going to do this.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, and at the Tap Time Live with Anthony, you tuned into my first show because you're like, "What the hell is this?" And you were like commenting on it and stuff. And
No,
we
I actually remember. I actually remember the studio, and I think you had the catch right behind you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, now I'm looking at it. It's right across from me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I remember that.
So yeah, no, things have changed since then. I feel as though I'm a little bit more professional in my interviews and have done a little bit more. But
Not this shit show with me.
no, no, this is great. I love this. It's a conversation. It's just fun. It's a good way to get people to know who those people are behind those pictures. But
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish I was more professional and stuff like that. But there, it just but I want to say like it's great that there's guys like you that really like try to convey the love and show the appreciation for Pearl Jam, and you're doing shit behind the background that I couldn't even imagine. So kudos to you, man. I mean, it takes a lot of effort. And people don't understand that. Like they just probably see you in front of the thing, and they're like, "All right, no, it's not. It's everything that we do. Everything that we do, even like for like fundraising stuff that that Alan, John, and Nick and I do. There's a lot of work, and and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate that you wanted me to be on, but I feel like that it's like it was a shit show with me.
No,
If that
no,
makes any
no.
sense. Like I'm the kind of get you like like Brian Fox is so much more funny than me or something like that.
No, 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 no. Brian Fox isn't going to tell me about the wedding issue, the marital issues he's having at home. So I appreciate it. Well, listen.
Well,
First,
no,
let.
because he's got a Portuguese wife that controls everything. That's why.
Oh, is that what it? All right, let's get into the 10 Club newsletter a little bit first before it
Sure.
gets too late and people get people tuned out. So this is the 10th. We're doing Hitchhiker on the 10th because we're going to incorporate fans and the 10 Club newsletter. So let's talk about some of the things that I felt were interesting in the newsletter real quick. Dale, you can comment on anything you want to as we're going through this. So the first thing that's big is, and I am going to debunk any rumor real quick, real simple, that Pearl Jam is playing a live show this month in Missoula, Montana. This rumor that people think that Pearl Jam's this is a lot. This live stream is going to be a concert is impossible, and let me tell you why. You can rent a fire pit to watch the live stream. There is no chance in God's green earth that Pearl Jam's going to be like play a surprise show and let you rent a fire pit, because that would just be the most dangerous concert experience of all time. So, with that being said, I think it's going to be a cool Father's Day weekend that you're going to be able to enjoy the Missoula, Montana 2018 show. I plan on watching it on Father's Day. Maybe we'll do like a live stream and we can watch along. I don't know.
This is the only show I missed of the 2018, so I will watch this one. This is the only show I missed because, like I said, I could not straight from Seattle go to Missoula, so I'll watch this one.
Dale, maybe we should get a couple people to do a watch along. Like we can't legally put it on the screen, but we can like live stream and we press play at the same time. We all talk about it as we're watching it. I don't know,
Right,
we'll talk about it.
that'd be like doing the Dark Side of the Moon to the Wizard of
Wizard of
Oz.
Oz, which is the greatest thing in the world. Greatest thing in the world. But I think
Yeah, that's a great sync. Yeah.
so this is I think it's a really clever idea. I like the fact this is raising money for everything. This is a really cool idea. So I'm excited that this is totally like a good live stream. I think first of all, I love the set list on this. I like the venue. I think it's gonna be a cool idea.
Yeah.
The other cool thing I took from this is so Missoula's doing a stream beer. So this is kind of like what they did with Seattle, but it's a Missoula thing where this local Missoula brand is going to be. They made a beer for the Montana Pool Service, which, if you don't know, is a Jeff Ament thing. And all the money from there is going to continue to go towards all the benefits that are going across for this event.
So I can tell you that the last batch of beer that they made was really, really good.
It was
Not
super good.
like the ones from the home shows. Like I wish I'd bought more. Oh my God, it was so good.
Good.
So I want to buy this one.
Yeah, I would highly if you can get your hands on it, definitely.
Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks. And then I'll probably have to enter a waffle to get them.
Yeah, the old waffle.
Yes.
This is where things get crazy. So there's this thing on if you go there on Pearl Jam Sirius XM Radio is doing this poll right now for the counting down the top fan favorite live shows, right? And this live show poll. Now,
Hard, right?
It is hard, but the thing is, like, it didn't even have all the show. Like, Hampton, Virginia wasn't on there, and to me, Hampton, Virginia was an amazing show. Charlottesville was on there. I put Charlottesville on there. Night 4 of the Spectrum closing was on there, but like, it's tough because like, I don't like the idea of labeling a show the fan favorite show. Like I feel as though like my experiences on a show might be different than others. And I don't think that anything should be labeled that. So me personally,
now on this, do they have? Is it like a poll where they give you 10 shows and then people have to vote on it?
so it's like 100 shows, and you get to pick like 10. You can pick as many up to 10 as you want to.
Oh, geez, no, because you're like, well, not some of those shows might not mean anything to you.
Exactly, and some of the ones that mean something to you might not be on there. So that's where like the
Yeah,
cross.
can you do like an add-on poll, like you know how you do on Facebook, like add a question?
No, I don't think not this,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Pearl Jam's not technology like that.
Technologically or thing.
Yeah. Well, I think they well, I think they suck with the internet anyway. So I kind of I think they're way behind. I'll be honest. I think they're way behind in everything.
I think that you're going to see something different in about 6 months. That's just my opinion.
All right, because I think their website sucks, but yeah.
Well, it's been the same thing for so long. I think it is time for an upgrade, in my opinion.
Yes, no, in my humble opinion, also, yep. And this is
This is two songs from Jeff Amen's upcoming album, Should Be Outside, will be released today. So today, the 7-inch vinyl record includes I Hear Ya and Bandwidth, which is now available in the shop. The official music video for I Hear You will launch soon, so if you go to pearljam.com, you can actually get more information from that. You can pre-order the digital and 7-inch vinyl right now. So that's pretty cool. And
yeah, I
then
think so. I love his artwork too.
Yeah, I dig the artwork. Now, Dale, I know you purchased this, and so did I. The big merch item drop for today. And the funny thing is, you and I didn't even go to these damn shows, but because it says Pearl Jam, we need to buy it. Even if you can't make it to the Stream in the Park event, you can still enjoy a crisp, cold, and refreshing beverage from a Pearl Jam 64-ounce Mur Growler. The BPA-free growler is guaranteed to keep your drinks fresh and cold, even in the hottest conditions. Pair it with a Pearl Jam tumbler. You'll be set all summer long.
Yes.
I bought the growler. I didn't buy the tumbler. And now I'm starting to think maybe I should.
So I bought both of them, and my buddy was right next to me. He's like, "Fucking A, those two things cost you $100."
Well,
With shipping.
dude, I didn't fucking realize my analog membership had ran out because I just kind of gave up on it. And
Yep.
like, I had to renew that for $40 to buy the.
You get double fucked.
Yeah, so maybe that's why I didn't buy the tumbler.
Gotcha. No, I bought today, and I don't know, some guy. I was like, well, so, and it's stupid. It's some of the stupid shit you do buying merch. I don't know if that makes any sense. Did I lose you?
Shit, is that better?
Oh yeah, that's better now.
Okay, I hit a button. I told you this show for some reason you and me are just not meant to interview. It's a fucking crazy. No, I'm just joking. The growler, what I like about that is because I go to a lot of breweries with my wife, is that it actually is insulated, which is a rarity. And insulated growlers can be like $120. So I was okay with this, and the fact it's going to a good cause, I was cool with that.
Right.
And then the other big thing that came out
I just
of
saw Pearl Jam on it, and I bought it.
but the fucked up thing is it says Missoula, Montana, and neither one of us even went to Missoula.
No, we didn't go to Missoula.
But like Shannon says, it's raising money for charity, and that's what it's all about. Also,
Definitely true.
Record Store Day is Saturday, June 12th and 17th. This year marks the 30th anniversary of Pearl Jam's iconic debut album 10. The infamous single Alive was a single off the album. And in celebration, it is being reissued on both a 12-inch vinyl and cassette single for Record Store Day on Saturday, July 17th, 2021.
I'm gonna have to be there because I said, right, what was the first song that really got you? And it was Alive. It was the first, like, swear to God, like the McCready, like, ding, and I'm like, damn, this is so fucking cool. This is like, and I think as a, I don't know how old you are. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
I would say about 45.
Wow, Dale. I'm only 36.
36.
That's right. I just turned 36.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. It must be the beard always gets us Asians we can't we can't decide because we don't have facial hair, so we can't we get if you have beard you kind of just add 10 years to it. That's
Man,
the solid rule.
You
If the
really,
guy has facial hair, that means he's probably 10 years older than what you think. So
I see how
I'm
it
sorry.
is. Now
Yeah.
I'm 45 years old. Jesus. Anyway, I'll take it. It's all right. But yeah, no, so basically on July 17th, the Alive cassette is a replica of the cassette that was originally used during the time of the release. It includes a promo version of Alive, along with Wash and I've Got a Feeling, repeated on both sides. The 12-inch vinyl has all 4 tracks included on side A, while side B has an etching of the band's Stickman logo. And then there's go ahead.
What I'm going to do is basically get some tissue paper and put it on top and then dub over it. Seriously. Do you remember doing that?
No, I do not remember doing that.
You don't remember seriously, so if you bought a cassette that you didn't like, so all you do is stuff tissue on the
Oh,
top. So
oh,
that,
yes, yes. So you can record over it. Yes, I do remember that kind
yes,
of like.
yes, you would dub over it, and you could just record anything.
Oh,
No,
yes, I do
it was
remember
just
that.
it was supposed to be a funny joke, but apparently like
Yeah, it was not a good thing. I got it now. I know. Yeah. Well, it's my age. I'm much younger than you, so age over wisdom, right?
well,
Um,
we did. You know, we were the, you know, Max cells were really expensive, so you just kind of had to kind of use what you had around, and it was a shitty fucking like a cassette. You just like, oh fuck that, I'm not listening to it, so let's dub over it.
Oh Jesus! And then this is probably the biggest Ten Club newsletter, probably in retrospect of information that's probably come out in the last year. Also in it was how to do a rain garden, Stone's reading list. Stone was recently interviewed by Seattle Times, provided a glimpse into some of his recommended reads. Hot Soap Cold Music. You can on Tuesday, May 18th, Eddie Vedder perform a song for Hot Soap Cold Music virtual event celebrating music, baseball, and give it to the Benefit Foundation to be named later. You can watch a replay there. Mike McCready's Guitar World interview, and then of course the contest to win a growler and a cup. So,
Now,
Dayle.
were you at Hot Stove in 2016? Was it the
Unfortunate.
one that was at the Paradise?
No, no, I was not.
You were not. Oh, that was like the closest I ever gotten to Eddie.
Hmm.
Like he was literally like about 10 feet.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was a great show. It was like the you know the Paradise, right?
Of course I do.
On Commonwealth.
Yeah, I saw. I saw. What the hell's the name of the band? I saw Interpol at the Paradise.
Oh, Interpol.
Hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a small little stage, and it's just like it's got a little balcony, and it's like yeah, I saw Eddie Vedder there, and he
That's
was awesome. Theo played, and they showed the World Series thing, and it was a baseball thing, but it was really cool, really fun.
I love baseball. I love the Red Sox. That seems like it's the
Yeah,
only fucking team in Boston right now not falling apart.
are you still heartbroken over the Bruins? Me
God
too.
damn it. That team was too fucking talented to let that shit fall through.
Yes, yes. It was just like, and then, you always question like, should I fucking played Tuca last night? Yeah, probably not.
No, probably not.
Okay,
No,
well, yeah,
last night was the night they should have not played Tuukka Rask. Tuukka Rask should have sat that game. But
yeah.
it's over. I moved on. The Red Sox are playing. Chris Sale's coming back in the middle of August. The Patriots is right around the
Oh,
corner.
he's gonna earn his money. Chris Sale is gonna. Is he
Chris
gonna
Sales
actually?
is going to earn his money. That is correct.
Oh
Yes.
Jesus Christ! How many years is he? He's been unemployment for like how many years now? Jesus Christ! Can you throw a fucking ball, please?
Oh man. Well,
I
listen, Dale.
know, and
Dale, I have
sorry.
one more question for you
Sure.
before we end this.
And but I want to if anyone's watching, so I can't see any of the comments or anything like that. But I really appreciate.
Would you like me to share some of these comments? Because there's a whole lot of them. I just haven't posted them.
No, yeah, yeah, we could go on that. Like what
Here,
yeah, that'd be
well,
funny.
let's roll through some real quick. Now, I don't have anything from the first message. Let's see. Chicago story, happy wife, LOL, burning posters from Frederick, Chicago story. A lot of people seem to enjoy the thing. Shannon saying the famous story, hi Dale, hi AK. I was on the phone with him, John Fuller. Oh God, the famous Labor Day barbecue, 100 people in and out. Wendy says, Dale, you're lucky to have Mimi. Dawn says extended family. It's the best family you could put together yourself. Shannon McGooey. Tim Smith said so awesome. Wendy says this community is amazing. Wendy says pre-shows are the best. Timothy says, oh, finally something about me, not about you. I was wearing my touring fan t-shirt last week when I got a tattoo. The artist was very impressed with it. Well, that is good. We and then this one I'm going to share for the last one. Shane Williams, we all love you, Dale.
Oh, thank you, Shane. And he's very local. Met him in Boston. Really cool guy. But I wanted to preface this by saying, I was very hesitant to do this when I got and anybody knows me when I get a messenger through Facebook, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't want to answer it. And so I really literally like it took me like several hours to return. He's like, hey, you want to be a guest on the Hitchhiker series? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And I'm like, hey, I'm very hesitant. I'm like, can we vid chat and talk about this? And, and what it's going to take a process. And he's like, it's very cool. I'll send you a link and everything. So if he sends you a thing that if he wants to talk to you, then do it, because I think Anthony is really very approachable and very, just like really cool about everything. And I was, like I said, I didn't feel comfortable, but after he spoke to me, I was like, oh shit, this is like gonna be easy, and and I really appreciate this. I don't know like you know how to say that without saying, but it's just part of that thing with the community is like and I'm excited, super excited. I'll see him in New Jersey, which I will go down my Jeep. So if anyone wants to see me, will be in my Jeep. It will be really fucking loud, and hopefully I can take the top off. And I need like a five like taller dudes to like lift it. So if you
Well,
can,
maybe I could put you on my shoulders. I'll pretend you're my kid.
that's been mentioned many times, and even like they're like, why don't you like GA? I'm like, you don't understand. I'm 5'3". I don't like to sit. I don't like to sit behind somebody or stand behind somebody and fucking sing to the back of his fucking back. Like
Yeah,
even and flow, and it's just reverberates back to you because you can't.
yeah.
It's like,
Well, I will tell you this. I'm excited that the bands I want to see are all on Saturday with Jackson Pines, who are friends of the show, Rain Wolf, who are friends of the show. All this. And Pearl Jam. I'm excited. If we're working on having a tent at See Her Now Festival, the Touring Fan Live and the Project Managers are working to have an informal tent. So I'll be probably back and forth. I don't plan on being close for this event. I plan on just being with friends and enjoying the moment. And I kind of want to see that moment that Pearl Jam walks on stage and see how the crowd interacts from the back end. So I'm looking forward to that. And then once they decide to play some more shows, then I'll worry about being rail. But I've been rail enough to know what it feels like, and I think it's time
yeah,
to let other people. You never been
I've never
rail?
been real. The only time that I could have gotten like close to rail was in 2013, which is Hartford, and that was the time that they played what you call it, eruption.
Hmm.
Is it eruption or
Yep.
no, wait,
Van,
eruption into what's the Van Halen song? I'm sorry. See, it's keeping my head. Um, don't give me the love. Wait, no, wait, shit, fucking a. Now
I
I'm
don't
like,
I don't know, but I will tell you this. I am not a Van Halen fan.
ain't talking about love. Ain't
I
talking
ain't,
about love.
well, I ain't
Ain't
talking about
talking about love.
I ain't talking about Van Halen. How about that one? No.
Okay, well, you don't. We kind of. I kind of grew up that, and David Lee Roth was just a
Well,
fucking,
you got to remember.
awesome.
You remember you're closer to AARP age than I am.
Well, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And what I would tell you, yeah. So I was at Hartford, and the guy comes around. And he's like, yeah, we can upgrade you to get to the front. And I'm like, hey, can you wait? My brother's at fucking the bathroom, and can you wait? He's like, no, I can't. I'm like, my motherfucking brother again, and I fucking my plus one brother. I missed the show in Madison Square Garden because he was having a heart attack, and
Son of a
which
bitch.
I didn't really care about because I was like, dude, do you want me to drive? Do you want me to drive? Like seriously. So we had to stop at the hospital. I'm like, dude, we need to get to MSG here, dude.
Get
So
your
that
shit
was another
together.
story I
Get
missed.
your
That's
shit
another story
together.
I missed. I my brother was having like a massive like heart, like seriously heart issues, and I didn't care. I was like, we gotta
Mm,
get to MSG, and we had to stop in Worcester.
bastard, bastard. Well, Dale, I first of all, it is really is a pleasure to have you on the show. I
And
do,
it is a pleasure
I know
thank
that
you.
we've never met in person, but our conversations and our banter back and forth is something that I really enjoy. So thank you for that. Um, I look forward to meeting you in September and enjoying the Pearl Jam for the first time live since they last played
Yeah,
in.
now so we would have been at the last Pearl Jam and the first Pearl Jam, and hopefully there's something. Hopefully. Hopefully, there's other things. I know that
I
there's other
don't
things.
I don't think that's going to be the first show since last show.
I hope so. I hope so. And then
I think I would tell you that I think, in my personal opinion, nothing special about me.
I'll see you on I'll see you in Hartford somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Well, it's they're going to be doing it again. I guarantee they're going to play a couple shows before See
Yeah.
Here Now Festival.
Well,
They're,
no, but I wanted in return say thank you so much. Thank you
oh,
for anybody that's been out there watching this. We always call it a shit show, and I always think it's a shit show. And I hope I hope that I was okay as a guest. I don't know. It's always like I'm always like kind of crazy about that shit. So,
Dale,
but I wanted to thank
I have
you, Anthony, so much.
no. I appreciate Dale. I rate guests on a very strict scale. I give this interview like a 8.265. You know, that's
Oh well, thank you. That's almost 10, close to 10. I'm mathematically challenged, but I'm okay. Well,
listen.
thank you so much. I really, it was very easy. So I want to say for future guests that want to do this, Anthony is so like easy to work with, and I didn't feel like this was a show. I felt like I was just talking to him.
Well, Dale, some people would
Just
say
go
that
back
I'm
to the,
difficult
this
to
is
work
go back
with.
to the unplugged. The unplugged. Like we didn't think it was we didn't think it was a show.
No. We're just having a good time, chit chatting and bullshitting, and you know how it
Bullshit.
is. That's right. Well, listen, Dale, you hang on real quick. We're gonna end the show real quick with my favorite music, a little tidbit, and then Dale, hang on the other side so we can talk before we totally close out for the evening. So, listen, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This show is going to be put together from 2 separate videos, and I'll have it up on our YouTube channel, which is back. We had the lawyers get involved. The lawyers took care of everything, and our YouTube channel is legally back. That was not cheap, but we're back. And we're on.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you about that. Well, listen, I'm not gonna be bullied around. I'll tell you that much. We have a channel on Venmo, Vimeo, whatever the hell it's called. Not Venmo, like where you get money, but Vimeo. Or your channel, or it's up there. This will be a podcast, probably not tomorrow because I have to put it together. Probably in 2 days. I'll post that tomorrow. So definitely check out our YouTube channel. Search the Touring Fan. Search Touring Fan Live on all the podcasts and platforms you can look at. Dale is everywhere online. He's doing great things. I admire him. He's an amazing man. I don't know how his wife is still with him after telling me all these stories, so that's going to be a clever thing in its own sense. But until next time, that's Dale. I'm Anthony. Thank you so much for tuning in to Touring Fan Live.